Hey everyone, and welcome back! Today, we're taking a deep dive into a classic war film, the 1976 epic, Midway. This movie throws us right into the heart of one of the most pivotal naval battles of World War II, a clash that would forever change the course of the war in the Pacific. So grab your popcorn, and let's set sail back to 1942. The film opens just 6 months after the devastating attack on Pearl Harbor. The American fleet is battered, and morale is low. Japan, on the other hand, is riding a wave of victories across the Pacific. Their next target? The strategic island of Midway, a tiny atoll that serves as a vital American outpost. The Japanese combined fleet, led by the brilliant but overconfident Admiral Yamamoto, hatches a complex plan. They aim to lure the remaining U.S. carriers into a trap and annihilate them, effectively ending American naval power in the Pacific. But the Americans have a secret weapon: intelligence. Stationed in a stuffy basement in Hawaii, Commander Joseph Rochefort and his team of codebreakers are working around the clock. They've partially broken the Japanese naval code, JM-25. They intercept messages pointing to a major Japanese operation codenamed AF. The million-dollar question is, where is AF? Rochefort is convinced it's Midway. However, Washington's top brass is skeptical, fearing it could be a diversion for an attack elsewhere, perhaps the Aleutian Islands or even the West Coast. This is where we meet our main characters, a mix of historical figures and fictional composites. We have Charlton Heston playing Captain Matt Garth, a fictional naval aviator whose son, played by Edward Albert, is also a pilot and is in love with a Japanese-American woman. This subplot adds a personal, human dimension to the grand strategy, highlighting the prejudices and personal sacrifices of the era. On the historical side, we have Henry Fonda giving a stoic and commanding performance as Admiral Chester Nimitz, the Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Pacific Fleet. He is faced with an impossible decision: trust Rochefort's unproven intelligence and risk his last few carriers, or play it safe and potentially lose Midway. Nimitz decides to gamble. He trusts his gut and Rochefort's expertise. To confirm their theory, they devise a clever trick. They have the Midway garrison send out an uncoded radio message claiming their water purification system has broken down. Shortly after, the codebreakers intercept a Japanese message stating that AF is short on fresh water. The trap is confirmed. Midway is the target. Now Nimitz has to assemble his forces. The U.S. is severely outnumbered. The Japanese are bringing 4 of their best aircraft carriers, the Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, and Hiryu, the very same ships that attacked Pearl Harbor. The Americans have only 3, the Enterprise, the Hornet, and the Yorktown. The Yorktown is a story in itself. Heavily damaged during the Battle of the Coral Sea, it limps back to Pearl Harbor. Experts say it needs 3 months of repairs. Nimitz gives them 3 days. The dock workers perform a miracle, patching the carrier up just enough to get it back into the fight. The film brilliantly builds the tension as both fleets steam towards their fateful rendezvous. We see the Japanese commanders, like Admiral Nagamo, confident in their plan and their numerical superiority. They launch a preliminary attack on Midway Island itself, but they're holding back half their planes armed with torpedoes, ready to attack any American carriers that might show up. Meanwhile, the American carriers, under the command of Admirals Fletcher and Spruance, have positioned themselves based on Rochefort's intelligence. They are lying in wait, hidden from Japanese scout planes. The battle begins in earnest on the morning of June 4th. American torpedo bombers from the carriers are the first to attack the Japanese fleet. These were the planes of Torpedo Squadron 8, and their story is one of incredible, almost suicidal bravery. Flying low and slow, they are sitting ducks for the Japanese Zero fighters and anti-aircraft fire. They are wiped out almost to a man without scoring a single hit. Their sacrifice, however, is not in vain. By drawing the Japanese fighter cover down to sea level to deal with the torpedo bombers, they leave the skies above the Japanese carriers wide open. Just as the Japanese are rearming their planes to attack the American fleet they've finally located, a wave of American dive bombers from the Enterprise and Yorktown, led by pilots like Wade McCluskey and Max Leslie, scream down from the clouds. It's a moment of perfect, devastating timing. The movie uses a combination of its own footage and actual combat footage from the war, which gives these scenes a raw and authentic feel. In what can only be described as the most decisive 5 minutes of the Pacific War, the American dive bombers hit their targets with deadly precision. Within moments, 3 of the 4 Japanese carriers, the Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, are turned into blazing infernos. Their decks are crowded with fueled and armed planes, which explode in a catastrophic chain reaction. The tide of the battle has turned in an instant, but the fight isn't over. The one remaining Japanese carrier, the Hiryu, launches a counterattack. Its planes find and severely damage the American carrier Yorktown. The crew fights heroically to save their ship, but it's eventually hit by torpedoes and has to be abandoned. The Yorktown's sacrifice, however, allows the other 2 American carriers to locate and sink the Hiryu, completing the stunning victory. The personal story of Captain Garth and his son runs through this epic conflict. Garth is forced to confront the realities of command, sending young men, including his own son, into mortal danger. His son's relationship with a Japanese-American woman, Haruko, faces immense pressure due to the war, and her family is sent to an internment camp, a somber reminder of the injustices that occurred on the home front. These personal dramas ground the massive scale of the battle, reminding us that wars are fought by individuals with their own fears, loves, and losses. In the end, Japan loses its 4 best carriers and over 200 of its most experienced pilots, a blow from which their navy will never fully recover. The Americans, despite losing the Yorktown, have won a decisive victory. The Battle of Midway marks the turning point of the Pacific War. From this point on, the strategic initiative shifts to the United States. Midway the movie is a grand old-fashioned war epic with an all-star cast. It's a tribute to the intelligence officers who cracked the codes, the leaders who made bold decisions, and the pilots and sailors who demonstrated incredible courage against overwhelming odds. It's a powerful depiction of a battle where strategy, luck, and sheer bravery collided to shape the course of history. The film ends on a somber but triumphant note, acknowledging the immense cost of victory but celebrating the turning of the tide. So what do you think of this classic film? Have you seen it? What are your favorite scenes or performances? Let me know down in the comments. It's a fascinating piece of cinema that brings a crucial moment in history to life. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this look back at Midway, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into classic movies. See you in the next video.